Yes, my name is Malte Zeretzke. I'm heading the R&D department at Carnival Maritime in Hamburg.
So as the gentleman heading the R&D department in Hamburg, can you share with us whether you have any big fuel cell pilot projects underway?
It depends on the emission, what definition, what you mean with underway. I mean, we're working on them, and of course they're existing on paper already. So what we're currently doing is having the smaller scale demonstrators with on our idea Nova. It's a project where we are going to run fuel cells on methanol, and on this basis we're going to expand them to larger scale demonstrators. But that's definitely the next step we're looking into.
One of the perennial questions is DC grid versus AC grid for electric propulsion. Where do you stand on that one?
Yeah, we investigated this thoroughly, I would say, and there are definitely benefits on the DC side that we would like to collect, and so therefore we are following up on the development path of DC. But what we had to experience as well, that the size of our cruise ships are, so to say, hitting the edge on what is possible with the current technology on the DC. So therefore I think we're going to approach this technology stepwise, not directly jumping into a full DC cruise ship of this size, but yeah, supplying then maybe subsystems of the cruise ship with DC first and then trying to expand on this technology.
Have you seen or heard any evidence that cruise companies are pushing back on biofuels? And if you have, what might be the reason? Would it be infrastructure, supply, something else?
No, actually, we have been the first bigger cruise ship trialing biofuel in Port of Rotterdam. So we have been supplied by good fuels, which is then, yeah, quite sustainable fuel, which is then produced from residual cooking oil and tallow. So that's really a third generation biofuel. And we are further looking into this. I mean, the infrastructure is a little bit heavy to develop, I have to say, but for as an intermediate bridging technology, as also mentioned in my presentation, I think the biofuels are inevitable. So we are definitely continuing on this one.
As a company, have you set your own net zero targets, or are you following the targets in line with the IMO?
No, as you were able to see on my presentation, we want to be well ahead of the IMO regulations and even well ahead of the EU requirements to be greenhouse gas neutral by 2050. We would like to tackle this task as early as possible.
I believe there is a major cruise line who has installed fuel cells in the, or just recently, just now actually. Do you think this is the shape of things to come, and what role for fuel cells on these large ocean liners of yours?
Yeah, it depends on the time horizon you're looking at. I mean, everything has to start with small steps, and then of course the step size is then increasing. But I mean, on the midterm perspective, definitely, I mean, even if you look into the regulatory framework of the EU, as of 2035, it would be required to be zero emission port. And zero emission is only achievable with fuel cells. So I mean, if you're looking into this one, and considering the hotel or the power demand of a cruise ship inside a port, we are immediately looking into systems of at least 6 megawatt up to 8 megawatts. So that's sort of say the scale we would be then seeing in future, I would say. And the next step is then going towards full fuel cell propulsion cruise ships, which is then 40 megawatt and even above, depends on the size of the cruise ship.
As you reflect on the conference content, what for you have been the key takeaways?
Yeah, the key takeaways, I have to say, I was really impressed that the train is rolling and that it's rolling so fast. So it has definitely left the station. And I mean, we had this kind of development where we had the feeling that, sort of say, the industry is sparking already in the past, but it was then, sort of say, slowed down and even stopped then for a couple of times. But now I really have the feeling that the train left the station to continue rolling and even accelerating. And having seen all these vendors and the multiple big players that are stepping into the fuel cell battery market, that was, sort of say, proving for me that really the train is speeding up. So, and I think, yeah, among all the other discussions I had, this was the key takeaway, that we have an entire industry that is seeing this future to happen and is also willing to cooperate. So, I mean, I was talking also with other cruise ship lines, which are then, sort of say, where we have a friendly competition, so to say, but it's really good that we're heading into the same direction. And as mentioned in my presentation, I mean, even though we're a big company, we won't be able to turn the wheel our own. So energy transition only works when so let's say the entire industry is cooperating, and that the other shipping industry partners are cooperating in the same way or betting on the same horses is really an important development that I took away from this meeting.
And finally, when you reflect on the events in the round, how have you found it?
Yeah, I liked it very much because I don't know if this only relates, and I guess not, due to the fact that this is in Norway, in Bergen, because Norway, Bergen is known to be very cooperative and eager entrepreneurial community. But I had the feeling that the spirit of this event was really feeding into this direction, and I had a lot of good exchanges and with other companies, forward-thinking minds. So I think it was very good for networking, but also to expand your knowledge on what is happening and what is possible.